Welcome to Exploring Your Temperament. Thank you for choosing to take the course. I think it's going to be a good use of your time and your energy. There's a lot of really interesting content in here, and I think the content is also very useful. I think there's great applicability to your own personal growth, to your relationships, to your professional life. So there's a lot of things that you can look forward to if you put in some effort. Now, I haven't designed it to be a great strenuous use of your time and your energies, but there is some reflection and some practical exercises that I think will be worthwhile, will help you to get more value out of it. So I really am going to encourage you to take a look at that. You'll notice that I've also called it dynamic self-understanding. And the dynamic has to do with the idea that we're not merely going to go over concepts and kind of try to understand them intellectually and merely have them in our minds. We also want to do something with that. And that's where those assignments are going to come in. So there's going to be an assignment after each presentation, including right after this one. And I ask you, I suggest to you, I encourage you to be able to try to put some real effort into that that's aimed at making a difference in your own life. Those are ideas that I've come up with that I think are going to be very profitable for you. Of course, there's other ideas that you might have. I encourage you to do that as well. I encourage you to discuss with other people the kinds of things that you're learning with a view towards how it will be more effective in your life. But as it comes to those assignments, please take a look at them when they show up. So the order that they are in, the way that they are tied to each of the different subtopics is on purpose. And so that is important for you to remember and to do, as I say, do something with. The very first of these comes right after this. It's going to ask you to take a look at, not surprisingly, 2 assessments of your own temperament. 2 different temperament approaches from 2 different sites that I think are valuable. And I ask you to take a look at these before you get into the real content of the course, because you're going to have less full understanding now. Even if you've been exposed to temperament theory before, you're going to understand less now than you will at the end of this course. And therefore, it's going to be likely that you will not unduly influence your results. I don't think you need to worry about that, but we do want to get kind of a more pure assessment out of you before. You're going to be able to reassess anytime you want. There's a variety of sites. We're going to talk about some of those within the course content as it unfolds. But at the very beginning, for you to have just something to base yourself on. There is a tendency for some people to test overly seriously and for other people to test with less attention than they probably should. Again, not something for you to worry about, but if you happen to know which tendency you have, then try to counter that. Try to, when you look at the questions, try to answer them in general with your first response, what immediately comes to mind. Sometimes you might come up with something that you realize afterwards was kind of a silly response, and in that case you might want to change it. But don't overanalyze what's happening with your assessment. All that being said, as I say, I think this is really a well-designed course. I think the content is going to be worthwhile for you. I thank you again, and I welcome you to what's about to happen.